you press the button, that's it, it's on.
Good evening, my name is Lorraine and I'm from Romford. I've recently seen statistics showing the amount of special responsibility allowance paid to Cabinet members in all of the London boroughs. I was shocked to discover that Havering Council's allowances are substantially higher than other London boroughs. I'm aware that Havering are part of a scheme that sets the amounts of these allowances. However, this scheme has different levels of allowances and the Cabinet vote to set the actual amount. I am also aware of the fact that at the last CPA, which I believe was 2009 and 2010, Havering was rated with 5 other councils, joint third bottom, at 3-star improving. I therefore assume that the Cabinet's decision for the rate of allowances was not based on their performance. The rate set for council tax in Havering is one of the highest in the GLA, and I'm aware that Havering receives one of the lowest grants from central government. In view of these facts, it would appear that the present level of special responsibility allowance is totally unjustified and excessive. For example, compared to the London Borough of Bexley, which is a 4-star council, the leader of Havering is paid 72% more, the deputy leader is paid 70% more, a cabinet member 90% more, overview chair 35% more, and licensing chair 70% more. Compared to the London Borough of Brent, the leader of Havering is paid 42% more, the deputy leader 46% more, cabinet member 87% more, the overview chair 92% more, and the licensing chair a staggering 140% more. Further comparisons can be found on the Angry of Havering website by clicking on the Go Compare logo. I would like to ask the Cabinet to justify the reason why they consider that they are entitled to a much higher allowance than other London boroughs, and is this really in the best interests of the residents of Havering? Thank you.
Councillor Ramsey, you're going to pick this up for me?
Yes, well, Havering took the decision, the council took the decision in 2002-2003 to adopt a scheme which was organised by London councils to adopt a system which was independently assessed by an independent body, and that has continued since then. Now, with regard to the figures you've referred to, I think it's worth noting that now 20 out of 32 London boroughs have adopted that system, and Havering is in line with those 20 other London boroughs. The way the local government has evolved in recent years is that certainly the cabinet positions and many other positions have become, if not full-time jobs, approaching that. And the survey was put forward to recognise that. The most recent edition of the survey has proposed increases beyond those which apply in Havering, and the decision has been taken not to adopt those. The allowances have been frozen now for 4 years, and it's been agreed they'll be frozen for another 4 years, so there'll be no increase in allowances for 8 years. So far as the council rating was concerned, in 2002, when certainly we took over, I think Havering was 1 star.
It's actually 0 stars.
Yeah, well, it was amongst the worst in the country in terms of the CPA rating, and the last rating before it was abolished put us up to 3 stars. For some services we are 4 stars, amongst the best in the country, and so I don't think the progress which Havering's made over the last few years can be criticised. Where you have a very difficult base to start with, then obviously the task is greater to try and improve it, and I think that's been done. But broadly, if you look at the figures across London, then as I say, our allowances scheme is in line with 20 other London boroughs, and there are several London boroughs which have higher allowances than we do. So that is the decision which the council has taken, and you know that's the position which I think will continue.
I mean, I don't really consider, I understand what you're saying, but I don't actually consider that to be a satisfactory response. I don't think they are justifiable, and I know that there are a large number of the councils in the GLA that are part of that scheme, and there are different bands of allowances, but the Cabinet actually vote for those allowances. And to be fair, it would take an awful long time for for other boroughs to catch up with Havering Council's allowances. You know, as far as I'm concerned, I don't think they are justified. But you know, if you want to go on to the next question, I think that's answered mine.
That's a view that's been taken, but the council has decided that that's what the council wants to do, and the position across London is that all councils, most councils, the majority are going on to this scheme. The bands which you refer to are comparatively narrow bands, and certainly Havering is not at the highest level of the bands in the current figures which were issued in March 2011 this year. And so we are not at the top of the bands, and we will have frozen allowances for a total of 8 years.
I think they speak for themselves, but thank you.
Well, I would say that if you're going to look at the internet, the place to go is London Councils, because they are responsible for the scheme. It's their scheme. The scheme is an independent review by 2 Lord Lords and a professor, so it's not a councillor scheme, it's something that they have done on behalf of London councils. Councillor Ramsey is absolutely right. Barnet, which I see was in the correspondence that you sent me, agreed the scheme last month, and the leader and cabinet of Barnet actually agreed the scheme at a higher level than the Havering scheme. The Havering scheme, for instance, pays for a cabinet member £34,780, which is the bottom band for the band 3, setting for a cabinet member in an authority of this size. So when we implemented the scheme, and all 54 councillors voted on the scheme when it was implemented in 2002, on all sides, we took the decision to implement the scheme. We were I think we were the 3rd authority to implement the scheme across London, and we did so at that time. And because we were worried about what we were doing, we did it at the bottom rate. So we came in at the very bottom on all the bandings, from band 1 upwards. So for instance, if you look at our overview and scrutiny chairman, the majority of them are on, I think it's about 12,000, which is again the bottom run for overview and scrutiny chairman across London. We took the decision then to do it at the bottom level. We also took the decision to, as Councillor Ramsey quite rightly says, to freeze the SRA for 4 years at that time. Those 4 years were up in 2000, actually last year, in 2010, in May 2010. In 2010, the council took a decision to freeze it for another 4 years, to 2014. So by the time we get to 2014, we'll have frozen the allowances for 8 years, which is something that no other council in London has done. And if you say you want to look at it on the internet, that's the place to go. With respect, Hangry for Havering is an anti-council website, and if you're going to read stuff from there, you're going to read anti-council stuff.
No, I believe that the statistics were actually based on the website that you were actually referring to.
Well,
they are facts.
If you go onto the Havering onto the website, and I'll move on to another question, you will see a report from Havering Council. It looks something like that, a report into councillors' remuneration, because I'm looking at it as we're talking, on London councils, and that's the report itself. And if you wish to refer to that, that's the actual report, rather than what you might read on Angry of Havering. Thank you. The gentleman there, sorry.